Welcome back to Commercial Finance Experts Academy. My name is Sue Trung. So in the last video, I touched base on the review process that I put together and the assessment as well as positioning. Now, I'll go dive into a little bit deeper in today regarding these three different areas that I focus on way before I started to do the executive summary. Now, why want to do that, you may ask? Well, here's the reason being. If you understand completely what you're facing is, or what kind of project it is, what kind of property it is, and which type of land it could be best presented to, then you save yourself a lot of time and headache. And also, clients don't know, right? Clients won't know how to position their file, how to get the better financing. I'll put it this way. I got a repeat client that came to me because the second time actually he purchased a commercial property, he went on his own because he thought he could do a better job than I did for him. He doesn't want to charge, he doesn't want to pay the fee, in other words, right? I said, that's fine, go do it, Mr. Nguyen, and come back to me when you need help with. So now he's buying his third property. He came back to me and said, Sue, it's all yours, you take care of it. It's really fun because I know that if he went back to the same land he got his second property financed from, the restaurant that he purchased, right now this time around he's buying a laundromat. And I know that the bank that he financing from, which previously was in Bank of Montreal, they don't make this kind of product. And typically because there's not huge cash flow, a lot of cash business that they don't declare, and financing is very difficult. As well, it's not their niche, right? So I got the file and I was looking at it and looking at, well, what do I have here? What kind of property is it? Well, it's going to be owner occupied because one of his partner is going to be involved in this business and he's going to be running it. Therefore, he's already running another laundromat facility with his wife, and he's purchased this one for his partner to run and operate. However, because of within most of these kind of businesses, cash business, they'll declare half the income. So it was unfortunately not sufficient enough income to do that. Plus, on top of it, he's purchasing two types. So I mentioned this one of the assessment. So the assessment is he's purchasing two types. One is the equipment portion of it, and the other portion is the building. So when I look at the assessment of this type of property, what do I see? Well, I see there's going to be an issue because the component in the purchase is complicating the fact that there's two types. One is an asset base, one is not. It's more like a depreciating because it's equipment. It's the washer, the dryer, all those are depreciating asset. And it's really hard to finance because first of all, it's really old and it's probably depreciated and amortized over the years already from the current financial statement that I looked at. So this property is not an investment property per se. It is and it isn't, but because it's operated by one of the partner, we need his partnership income and everything else declared as well. On the review section, we need his income because the partnership is important. He's going to operate it, so we need to know what other business he has, what other operating business he may have, and what kind of debt on his personal side that shows up. We need to declare all that. So that's under the review process. That's pretty straightforward, right? Same as residential financing. I review all his personal and assets, liabilities, and all that. On the assessing part is where it gets tricky because now you have to say how much of this was declared in the purchase agreement as equipment and goodwill, and how, because it's buying the business, right? So this is the business portion he's buying. How much is that equipment? How much is that goodwill? So the breakdown is even further into this part, into components, goodwill. So not all lenders will like to do a 50-50 split, and even if this is written up in the purchase agreement, sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. If it isn't, find out if you can push as much into the building. Now most sellers would actually try to put less into building component because for tax, capital gains and all that issue, they try to offload into the goodwill and the equipment. Well, it's much more difficult to finance the goodwill and equipment than it is the building itself. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. Just take my word for it. So that means I would rather have 75% of the purchase price in the building as an asset side, and the other one, just get a little agreement or write up from the realtor how the purchase is split, how they figure out how much goes to one, how much goes the other, right? In this case, luckily, they were okay to work with my investment, and we got them basically 20%, 80%. So 80% went in the building, 20%. So even if this is $1 million purchase, close enough. It'd be $200K and $800K. Okay, so the asset is worth $800,000, the goodwill, and the equipment itself is worth $200,000. And that's when you look at, okay, I got this. Now, how do I position this? If he didn't come to me and I didn't know that this was involved, and if the person, his partner, is the active partner in it, he's buying it straight up, he has no experience, it's going to be very difficult to get financing. Now he's owning and operating a business that he's buying, has no experience, no history of it involved. So luckily when he spoke to me, I got him involved as, even if he's a silent partner, the current investor of mine, he's a silent partner. The money's coming from this gentleman, say Bob. Bob is buying this, and John is already own a laundromat. John already owns a laundromat, but Bob is purchasing this property with a business. Then I would position that John's going to help with everything, with the setup, with the repairs and everything, and this is where positioning comes in. So you have to tell to the lender that this is how it's working. Even though Bob has no experience in this kind of business, John has been involved in this business for a long time, and therefore he's going to be able to help make this business a success. And I can show them that John's current existing business is doing well, even better than the current subject laundromat that they're purchasing. Then it makes more sense, right? Now, when it comes down to negotiating this component, I want to make sure that the existing building, if the market rent, would be able to service that debt, because it's still, the DCR calculation still works. In the previous video that I mentioned, it's the DCR on any commercial building is roughly 1.25. So in this scenario, it actually works out well, because luckily they declare sufficient income to make the loan size serviceable, debt serviceable on the financial statements that I got. I'll go into details in future videos about that, but in this scenario, we're able to approach lenders that are very happy doing this kind of business. They have serviced a lot of other laundromats in the past, and I was able to tell them that this is how it's going to be, and this is how successful the business is going to be. Therefore, they feel very strong that they got a good asset and a very good experienced individual backing up this investment. That loan's approved, 75% here, as well as a good chunk of, on this one, 65, but we're negotiating up to 75%, see if we can get that as well. So, hope you learned something for the day, and this is just part 2. Part 3, I will go into even further details about how we present it, and you learn from the next video. Okay, if you like this video, just hit like and subscribe to my channel. You get future updates immediately. Any questions, just email sue@sharingbanksecrets.com. Take care. See you again.